You don't know everything about me. I've lived a lot of lives.
So it was around June of 2018 when you were chosen as the director for Black Widow from a list of several filmmakers. What was your pitch of the movie with your meetings with Kevin Feige and Scarlett at that time? The thing that you said to them, okay, I want this approach for the story of Natasha.
It wasn't so much what I said to them, it was about the conversations we were having. So it was very back and forward. It wasn't so much as a pitch until right at the end, I made like a sizzle reel. And I went to LA and I showed them what my vision for the film would be. But I think what we talked about mostly was heart, was taking her on a really emotional journey that we all thought she deserved that.
The scene that really blew my mind was not a big action set piece or a huge reveal or Easter egg. It was the moment in which Yelena told Red Guardian that she can have children because she's a very specific and graphic. And that in a Disney, Marvel, big budget superhero movie is a thing that I never expected. Can you talk about it?
We had a great screenwriter, Eric Pearson, and he was really politically incorrect and he really bugged me, and he's a super smart and funny guy, and he and I used to fight like cat and dog. And he wrote the joke, which was, you know, have you got your period? And Yelena, Florence Scarlett and I were so annoyed with him. Anyway, and then I collaborated very briefly with Nicole Holofcener, and she was great. She said, okay, if he's going to say that to us, then let's take it as far as we can. And so Nicole added the lines, you know, she kept it going, and she said, we will unleash Florence Pugh on him. And I always remember that and think it was great.
It's good to see you too, sis.
What brings you home?
The film also deals with hard topics, such as girl as a natural resource and women abuse. You show that on screen so elegant and feels natural and organic, just as Lore or Berlin Syndrome. But it looks like in Hollywood, there's this trend of let's make this movie more feminist, or let's make this female character strong. And by the end, they feel clumsy and much in your face. Why do you think are the most common mistakes with these types of films that tries to fill all the boxes?
Do you know what? I can't really comment on what other filmmakers do, but I think what we set out to do as a team, and that was men and women, was to bring everybody on the ride, because it wasn't like we wanted to lecture anybody about anything. What we wanted to do was say, this is specific to these women's journey. This is part of her past from the comic books. And how do we honor that? But also, I knew that I didn't want the film to be really dark because people would turn away. What we wanted to do was bring people in with laughter and warmth. And then if you're laughing, it's very hard to reject. You know, as soon as you start laughing, you're on board. So that was Eric's gift, you know. He also could bring people on board with laughter. And that was a shared vision that we all had for the film. We didn't want to make something depressing and turgid. We wanted something uplifting.
Lucky us.
And with your movie Lore, you were not saying society commits these crimes, my family did. And I found like a spiritual link with Natasha and her family, not only her parents, but her sisters. What was the most important thing to you to say with this movie?
I mean, it wasn't with this movie. I suppose it's what I believe is that we're all perpetrators. I think it's really not useful when we point the finger and say, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. You know, that's kind of holier than thou attitude. I think we're messy. We mess up constantly. And I think what's beautiful about Natasha is she's done some of the most terrible things, but she did them because she was part of this system. And once you take the system away, you take the roles away of superhero, daughter, of woman, whatever, and you just look at the human, what you see is a very scared child. And I think seeing that child thrive and survive like she does in the movie is heroic, and I hope it lifts people up.
And the very last shot of the movie connects with the very beginning. And for me, it was a very beautiful way to say goodbye to the character. Why did you decide to end the movie like that, with that shot between the trees and the creatures that young Natasha liked?
Because the film had to be about transcendence. And to me, every scene in the film, I'm aware that she's not here anymore physically, but spiritually she is. And I wanted to connect her to nature. So I chose fireflies because there's this beautiful light and it's so fleeting and fragile. And I thought that was in a way like her life.